Okay, so against Alisa players in the neutral, try to move a lot, backdash, sidestep a lot. I personally like to sidestep left, so the Alisa player will feel uncomfortable to come closer to you, and after they see you sidestepping so much, try to bait out moves like up to Magic 4, or some Alisa players might even use forward 1+2 or back 3. If they use up to or Magic 4, these kind of moves, sidestep ducks, incorporate that, predict it, punish them. If they use my moves like back 3, for example, which is on the slower side, utilize keep out a lot. Keep out against Alisa is also really good, and movement against Alisa is also really good, mid-range neutral. Okay. Okay, now Asuka. Against Asuka, try not to duck a lot against this character. Ever since Season 3, her power low got nerfed, and force her to use moves like down back 3, down 1+2, because down 1+2 is not that big of a threat, more outside of the wall anyway, so move a lot, backdash a lot, make them uncomfortable to come close to you, then force them to use down back 3 or down 1+2, stuff like that. And whenever you do force them to use, they try to use keep out moves to get them away from you, because down back 3 does not high crush, and you can use jabs, for example, electrics, generic down 4-2s, and kind of keep out. Okay. Against Azucena, one tip: whenever you block her while running 3-2, try to challenge her almost every time with a down jab, something like this. Because this will actually allow you to stop her offense after the while running 3-2, so she can't mindlessly mix you up immediately afterwards. You can also jab here, but I wouldn't really recommend it too much. So if you do jab, it is gonna work exactly the same way, but you can get high crushed and even get counter hit if you do like a 1-1 or a 1-2. So whenever you start doing this, the Austin player is going to be forced to actually think about their offense after this and sidestep. But keep in mind, this only works after one rank 3-2 and does not work after her jumping orbital, which is also a plus. Okay, so against Bryan, I know a lot of people already know this, but whenever a Bryan player wall combos you, so gets you to the wall, and combos you something like this, let's say, right? Combos you like this, and you're forced to, in this situation, I recommend to not stand up. Do not tech roll. If you do tech roll, you're going to be mixed up by a taunt, which is not a good situation. I would rather you get hit by a down 4, which will hit you grounded, or even a QCP4 and get out of the wall situation, either than tech rolling. What I would suggest doing here is going to be side roll. Side roll away from the wall, preferably. That's Bryan. Okay, against Claudio, what you want to do is move a lot in the neutral, just like I was talking about and mentioning about Alisa, so he feels uncomfortable, comes close to you, right? So you do not want him to come close to you, especially with something like a wild running 2. They would use either wild running 2 or FF4 or wild running 4, whatever would they use. So you want to move a lot, sidestep a lot. Do not let him use that wild running 2 as a situation closer, not situation, gap closer. So sidestep, make him uncomfortable to use it. And after you sidestep, obviously try to punish it, right? Because this is the best move they can use to come close. So use either movement or keep out to let them make them stop doing this. Jabs or keep out is one of the best things to do. That's it. Okay, against Devil Legend, what you want to do in the neutral whenever you're playing mid-range or even somewhat close range against them, sidestep right into a duck almost every time, just so you can avoid something like an electric, something like this, back a hell sweep, something like this, avoid the FF2 like that, and also evade the forward 4, something like that. And if you sidestep right into a duck, you'll also evade something like up forward 1, which is usually a very, very good tracking move, right? So yeah, very, very good to do against Devil Legend. Okay, against Dragunov, one tip I can give you is whenever the Dragunov player uses back 4-2, something like this, you can press buttons. Press buttons after this. So the good thing about this is that whenever they do use this, they try to counter it confirm, which means that they will not use the high unless they see that they counter it. Good Dragunov players will do that, right? And the high is very, very risky. If you press after it, you will give them incentive to press the high, which then you can predict and start ducking it. So basically, start pressing here, something like a counter button, right? You're down 4-2, let's say. And if they do finish it, you will get countered. Yeah, you will, obviously. But sometimes you duck it. But if you never press, they will never have the incentive to finish, right? And you want them to finish sometimes. It's a launch punishable high. There we go. One tip. Against Feng, one tip. Feng players really like to use down forward 1, obviously, right? Down forward 1 is a very strong move. Everyone should know down forward 1 is 0, and they continue pressing buttons after it because of this reason. They will they will press down forward 1 to 1 2, down forward 1 to back 4, down forward 1 to down forward 1, down forward 1 to down 4. All of these options are very, very, very common. What you have to do is do a down jab to stop all of these options. None of these options will actually beat a down jab. And the down jab will force the Feng player to actually sidestep after the down forward 1 and then press a button, which will open up opportunities for you to either hit them normally or counter hit them with a delayed button or whatever. Right? Stop them from pressuring you after a down forward 1 with a down jab, and afterwards you can predict them sidestepping or predicting their delays buttons or backdashes, and you can start pressuring them instead. Basically, create a mind game opportunity for yourself. Very good to do. Okay, against Hwoarang, I'll give you a very, very simple tip. It's not going to be that useful, but for a lot of people, this will be pretty important, because whenever you think a Hwoarang player is plus, I would advise to down jab, just like that. Down jabbing is very, very good in general against Hwoarang, because they will usually use something like a high jab to check you. There are some situations when they will use a right foot forward, RFF down forward 4 to check you, which can be a little bit risky to do in certain situations, but whenever you see a flamingo, not this one, something like this, down jabbing here can be pretty damn good. So whenever a Hwoarang has a leg up like that, either leg, you can down jab here, and it's a pretty decent option unless the Hwoarang player reads your down jab, which you want them to do, which will create additional mind games. There we go. Against Jack, I'll also give a very, very simple advice. Whenever you block his lows or predict his lows, you should always be low parrying them. So low parry all of this, because this is only -12. The other one, which is from full crouch, is also safe because of this mid extension, so you do not want to be guessing and ducking them. And also, whenever you do duck them, even if you do punish them, it's going to be a very, very little punish, even if you play someone like Kazuya, 13 frame wall stand punisher. So most of the time, whenever you predict Jack's lows, low parry them. Way better. Okay, against Jin, what I would advise is in the neutral, try to sidestep right a lot. To force them to use moves that will track to that side, like CD1 or back to 1. And if you do force them out of it, that's going to be good for you, because it will make them more uncomfortable, and you can maybe punish CD1 sometimes. So yeah, it's going to be good for you in general. So do something like this. Right, you're going to be sidestepping the electric, which I'm not doing. There we go. Sidestep forward 4-2, sidestep FF4, and you'll be able to sidestep something like F4 as well. So all of this is going to be very, very good. One tip against Jun that I can give you is whenever you do get hit by the full crouch low, like this, if you want to avoid getting mixed up by that low and the wall standing too, which usually is very, very good tracking wise, unless you play a good sidestep character maybe, what you can do to stop this pressure is down jabbing with the afterwards, which will beat something like this double low, and it will also beat this low into this mid. So double low, we already showcased that, so low into the mid it will also beat, so you'll be forcing the Jun player to actually sidestep after this and press buttons afterwards, which should open up opportunities for you as well. So you stop their pressure, and then maybe you move back after you down jab, maybe you sidestep, whatever you want to do. There's the tip. Against Kazuya, what I would suggest is whenever they will hell sweep you, let's say, or knock you down in general, and if you don't want to get vortexed, try to stay down on the ground and side roll one side, so you don't get hell swept again if you tech roll or get out, because that is going to be a mix-up, and you don't always want to get mixed up. And whenever you do stay on the ground and side roll, you're going to be forcing the Kazuya player to use options that he usually doesn't want to use, like something like forward 4, which will work in that situation. Let's say here, you avoid the hell sweep and go back to neutral, which is good. But an FF4 is gonna hit you and you might get mixed up again. But the more you stay on the ground, you will force the Kazuya player to use this move more, which will basically increase the mind games and make the Kazuya player a little bit more uncomfortable when choosing his options. There we go. Against King, I'll give you a simple tip. Whenever you see the King player use muscle armor a lot in the neutral, which a lot of King players will use, what you have to do is predict their muscle armor and just throw them. So whenever they move and just use muscle armor, something like this, you can just run up to them and throw them, and you will just get a guaranteed throw. I would advise a lot of people to do this because King players love to abuse this muscle armor, and it's hard to deal with whenever you want to do a gap closer. For example, a Demon Paw. Example. There's the tip. Okay, against bears, I'll also give you a very, very simple tip. What you want to do is press Alt F4 if you're playing on PC, unplug your console if you're playing on console, and I'll also unplug your internet because bear players do not deserve to be played against. Do not play against bear players. They don't deserve anything. Against Lars, and a very important tip I can give you is whenever you get hit by the low high, for example something like this, I would advise the down jab to avoid getting mixed up after it because it's not a true mix-up. A down jab will avoid both the mid and the low. But the Lars player here can actually check you with a while standing 4 or sidestep and then punish the down jab if they do read it. The while standing 4 and the sidestep will create more opportunities for you because the while standing 4 can be sidestepped, let's say sidestep into an electric, steppable, sidestep left, electric punish if you do predict the while standing 4, or you can also predict the sidestep and maybe create opportunities for yourself after that. The most important part is that you're not gonna get mixed up after this. So something like this, down jab will stop it. Even something like this, down jab, that will also stop it. One exception though is the 10 frame punish. So this, as I already showcased, you can down jab, the full crouch low, you can also down jab so you don't get mixed up, but if you get hit by a 10 framer, 10 frame punish, you cannot down jab this. This is gonna be an actual mix up, you're gonna have to guess between low and mid. And obviously, one more tip, extra tip I guess, if you do predict the low parry it. It's very low minus, the slow parry. There we go. Against Law, one tip I can give you is whenever you do block back 1-2, which is a very, very common move, sidewalk to the left, something like this, if you predict that they're going to use the last hit. Because the last hit is always going to be steppable. This is going to be more and more important if Law is in heat, because the last hit is going to be +5 because it's a heating feature, right? A heat dash. So very important to step this last hit like this, but make sure to do a sidewalk instead of a sidestep, because if you sidestep like this, you are going to get hit. Maybe with a better character you won't. But sidewalk into a punish. And after you sidewalk into a punish, you just get a normal combo. But it's also important to punish this second hit if they don't finish it, right? And the one thing I would advise to do so with is 10 frame punish. It is -12, but it's very important to use a 10 frame punish here, because even if they do finish it, you will not get hit too hard. It's not going to be a clean hit, basically. There you go. That's the tip. Against Lili, what tip I can give you is that into neutral, whenever you're just playing neutral in general, it's very gonna be good, very gonna be good, amazing English, but it's gonna be good when you press jabs to keep them out. So if you do something like this and press a jab, unless you're playing Kaz, you will be able to float him something like this. So it's gonna be way more consistent to keep him out, something like that. And whenever you do jab a lot and the lead player kind of picks up on it, they might use moves like forward 4 or down 3, which then you have to start predicting. So whenever you do this jab to do that, they might use moves like forward 4, obviously we have to predict, and down 3. So whenever you do that, just keep in mind that the lead player will be able to adapt, so you have to adapt back. But if you predict the adaptation, it's gonna be easier for you to handle it. But obviously Lee's very strong. This is gonna help, but not too sure how much. There's a tip. One tip I'll give against Leo is that you have to sidestep up forward 2-1. This move right here. It's only steppable one way, you have to sidestep to the right, so whenever they do continue this, you sidestep and launch him. Problem with this is that the Leo player, if you do sidestep, might go into a stance, something like this, let's say, and start mixing you up. If you see something like this happen, there's actually a very good solution. You have to power crush through. So the power crush will beat this follow-up, right? Normal follow-up, it will beat it. And even if they go into a stance, something like this, the power crush will also beat that. So it's going to be a very good option, unless your power crush is a high. If your power crush is a high, it might not be able to beat this because of the mid option being a high crush. There we go. One tip. One tip I can give against Leroy is that whenever you do block Leroy's low, which is the safe low because you can parry it, so something like this, right? That's parryable. I just got parried. What you can do instead of guessing is just throw the player, throw the Leroy. And when you throw them, you don't really have to guess on the punish that much. If they do, let's say, do a parry, you're going to punish them with a throw. If they don't, you're still going to throw them and they still have to break it. It's not going to be the best of punishment, but at least you don't have to think about if they're going to parry or not too much, right? Good option. There's the tip. One tip I can give against Lili is that whenever you do pressure her, let's say especially when Lili has low HP, I would suggest to not use your plus frames that much because Lili has a very good evasive tools, including her sidestep. So for example, whenever you do a CD1+2, I would advise to not press anything here because something like a Matterhorn might crush your jabs, might crush your mids, maybe even crush your lows, maybe even crush your will to live. So all of that I would suggest to stop. Wait for the Lili to do something, maybe find another opportunity, and then mix her up and do whatever you want. There you go. One tip. Against Nina, one tip I can give you is to not sidestep that much against this character, because this character will hit you in your sidesteps a lot and actually get a lot of damage because you're trying to sidestep her. What you're supposed to do and what's better to do is instead backdash away from the character instead of sidestepping. For example, whenever you get hit something like this, the back 2-2 will hit you if you try to sidestep. So it's way better to do a backdash here, and then you'll be able to react to the second back 2-2, let's say, and punish it. Duck and punish. It's the same, let's say it's not back 2-2, down forward 1-2, you can also do the same thing. You see the down forward 1, duck the second hit, and then, punish it. You can also sidestep down forward 1, but as I said, it's usually not worth it. And it's very important to have a good backdash against Nina, because whenever down back 3 hits like this far away, it's way easier to avoid this. But if it's from very close up, it's still gonna hit you, so you're still gonna block it. There you go. There's the tip. One advice I can give against Paul is that you have to have very good backdash and movement against him so he doesn't come close to you and instantly start mixing you up for free with a demo man or maybe something else. So what I mean by this is, let's say if you do this kind of backdash, it'll be very easy for the Paul player to come close to you and instantly mix you up with either a mid or something like this. So it's important to do not only backdashes but sometimes sidesteps as well. But if you do backdash, let's say, try to do a currying backdash, something like this, which will make it way harder for the Paul player to mix you up. So now you'll block the demo man instead of getting clean hit by it. So this is very important against Paul. There we go. One tip I can give against Raven is that whenever Raven is in heat, then they use the down forward to 1 golden clone extension to down forward to 1 extension in general. Predict that they're gonna down jab almost all the time because most of the Raven players will do this. Most of them. And when you predict this, obviously, sidestep and then try to punish it. I messed it up that time, but basically predict this down jab with either a sidestep into a punish, something like that, especially at the wall, as I mentioned, or you can also low parry this. That down jab is very common, so yeah, this is the one tip I can give you. One tip I can give against Reina is that whenever you do block her forward 4-2, which is going to be a lot whenever you play against the Reina, it's going to be very important to actually do a down jab here to stop her offense, to actually stop her from mixing you up. So she doesn't do, let's say, a low, a mid, a high, whatever, right? So what you have to do is down jab here to stop that. But the Reina player, whenever you do a down jab, they might read this and let's say you do a power crush here, right? Which will beat it. Or do forward 2 into nothing and to just bait it out. In this case, what you want to do, let's say you predict the power crush, right? The other things like that high will beat you, but what you can do is sidestep and then punish. Something with an electric, I messed up there. But yeah, there's the tip. A tip I can give against Shaheen is that whenever you think you're gonna get mixed up by his stance or he's pressuring you with his stance in general, it's gonna be very good to do something like a down jab or a high crushing move, especially if they're fast. So a down jab in something like this situation is gonna be very good because he doesn't really have a lot of options to stop this. Right? He can obviously read it and maybe low parry you, but it's going to be very good to do to stop the pressure and make the Shaheen player think about the offense more. As I said, he does have options. So one, this will beat something like that high check, but this will get beaten by this kind of jump. So he will have options, so you have to be careful about doing this too much, but it's in general good to do. There you go. Advice I can give against Steve is that a lot of Steve players, a lot of Steve players are over reliant on too many highs in the neutral, especially something like 1-2-1, something like this, right? 1-2-1 and back 1, either 1-2-1 or either back 1. So it's gonna be really good to force the Steve player to be a little bit more uncomfortable by ducking, even in their face. But ducking a lot against Steve, it's gonna be really good, but you have to remember, you have to be predicting 1-2-1, you have to be predicting back 1, and then punish them. Whenever you do duck, the Steve player might adapt with either QCF1, back 1+2, or down forward 1, which then you can start sidestepping those moves and maybe predicting them and then punishing them. There you go. There's the advice. Against Victor, one tip I can give you is that whenever you do block his wall running too, which will also happen a lot in a match, what you can do and what you should do is contest with a jab. So if you jab here, it'll actually beat a lot of the options and it will force the Victor player to adapt to the jab. You can also down jab, but a jab is a little bit better in my opinion, especially if you have a good jab string. So jabbing here is going to be very important. If you do just a one jab, it's going to be pretty safe. So very good to do. Will make the Victor player have to adapt. So what will they actually do if they predict that they were going to jab? So if you do jab, you're going to beat a lot of mix-up options, but you're going to lose to something like this one, right? you're gonna lose to that. So I'm gonna showcase that once again. Win against this, lose against that, but you're also gonna lose against the Power Crush, right? This kind of Power Crush. So what can you do against these two? Against these two, you have to sidestep left. So very, very simple mind game here. You do a jab, you predict they're not going to do the one or the Power Crush. So for example, I do a jab here, I predict he's not going to do that. And if I predict they're going to do something like that, I sidestep to the left and then try to punish them. That was an electric. For you guys, you have to launch them, right? Or do something else, a good punish. Very, very simple. Sidestep left, the Power Crush also works. Also, very, very good tip. An extra tip, I guess, is that the same situation also works when you get hit by the wild running 1+2, which is the wild running blow. There we go. Here's the advice. One tip against Xiayou I can give you guys is that whenever Xiayou players do the back turn, the jumping throw, what you have to do is duck on reaction. So it's gonna look something like this. Whenever you see the jump, duck on reaction, but unless you see the throw actually come out, you have to not press anything. So something like this, don't press anything unless you see the throw, and when you see the throw, you have a lot of time to actually punish it. Keep ducking, and then punish. You have a long time, so you don't have to stress about this too much. But whenever you duck and stand up, remember that you can't do a wall standing punish, you have to do a standing punish. The best thing is gonna be a 10 frame or a 12 frame punish, or maybe something else you have a good enough punisher. There we go. There's the tip. Advice I can give against Yoshimitsu is that whenever you do block his forward, the Fubuki knee, what you can do is actually punish the Yoshimitsu player with a high jab, something like this. Do this into a jab, and they will not be able to block it. He was holding back, but he cannot block this. So, one good thing about this is that it is an actual punish, but the Yoshi player can high crush it by ducking. So, even though this works right here, if I do it again and the Yoshi player does a down back, he'll be able to avoid it. What you can do is play a mini mix-up here, is that sometimes use a jab and sometimes use a mid. If you do something like a hop kick, they will actually get hit by this. If you do a hop kick, and you will also crush his high crushing low from back turn, that will also work. That is a little bit of a risky mind game you can play, but it is there. And one of the best things you can also do, if you do have it, is a 12 frame mid. If you have a 12 frame mid here, something like this will also work as a mini punish. This is very hard to avoid, and this will also work against duckers. The only way they can avoid this 12 frame mid, by the way, is if they spin. So right now, you can try to do something like that. That will work. If they do a down back, which is going to be something like that, the 12 frame mid is also going to work. But if they spin away here, it will whiff. So the only thing you have to worry about is going to be this spin most of the time. And you can actually read this spin, sometimes I've done this before, and do a tracking move to catch them, or just run up and punish them. You can also do that. There you go. One advice. One advice I can give against Zafina is that whenever you are getting mixed up in Tarantula stance, for example after Zafina's wall running 1+2, to do not try sidestepping her unless your name is Lili. From what I know, only Lili can sidestep, maybe some other characters. But in this kind of situation, for example, if you sidestep, this mid, which is also plus, will track you. This is a tracking move, and it's very, very hard to avoid with a sidestep, maybe in the very, very niche situations, but do not even try to sidestep. Instead, what you can do is do a down jab to stop this if you predict the mid, or even power curse to stop this. I wouldn't suggest the power curse too much, you're getting hit by a lot of damage, but you can do a down jab. But a low mix-up will hit you. It's still going to be a mix-up, so if you predict a low parry it, because it does have a good punish. Low parry. There you go. One advice. One advice I can give against Eddy is whenever you do block Eddy's wild running 3, so this move, you do not want to get hit by all of this, because that mid follow-up, the second mid, is plus, which instantly gives him a free mix-up with a hell sweep or a mid. You do not want to block that, so what you have to do, which are the best options, is either sidestep it to the left, which I don't like that option too much, but it can work, so something like this, right, sidestep to the left and then punish this, which the punish won't work really well because this is Eddy. So what I would suggest doing instead is what you can do is jab to stop this and interrupt it. Outside of the jab, what you can also do is do a power crush. So jab or a power crush is going to be one of the best options. I would usually suggest the power crush. Power crush is going to be good. But whenever you do the power crush, the Eddy also has a very, very good option to stop any kind of retaliation, a sidestep, a power crush, a jab, no matter what you do, which is the handstand 4. So let's say I do this, right? And let's say I jab there. I'm going to try to jab here. And the 4 is gonna counter hit you, which is gonna be a guaranteed hit afterwards or a guaranteed spike if the Eddy has a stack, install stack. So this is gonna be very, very important to know. So whenever they do the 4, you have to not always power crush, so block it. And whenever you do block the 4, sidestep afterwards. So I'm gonna showcase that. So he's gonna do the hell sweep here, but next time he's gonna do the 4. So let's say I block this, I predict he's gonna do the 4, I block it, sidestep right afterwards. Just trust me on this, because there's a lot of extensions after this, and if you sidestep right, you will avoid the plus ram extension. You might get hit by the other one, but basically mix it up. Sidestepping is really good here. There you go. My advice. Against Lidia, what tip I can give you guys is that whenever you block forward 4-2, you can simplify the spine game a lot. There's a lot of ways you can deal with this with a varying risk reward, but if you want to simplify this, what you have to guess is if they're gonna do the 3, which is the jumping kick, or not a 3. So if they do a 3, which is this one right here, it has a certain counterplay. The counterplay being a jab. One of the best counterplays here is gonna be a jab, which will float and you will get a float combo. Right? But if they do not this, and you do try a jab, you will get beaten by some other options. Like for example, that you will get beaten, and that you'll also get beaten. The low. Right? So if you want to simplify it, you jab if you think the jumping kick is coming. So let's say I think the jumping kick is coming, and I will jab. But if I think the jumping kick is not coming, I won't jab, but what I will do is a down jab, which will beat this power crush and you will get a guaranteed while standing punish here. You'll also beat the other low that I showcased. So if you down jab, this will beat you, but you will beat this power crush and you will also beat this low. So these are the most common options. If you want to simplify this, jab for the 3 prediction, down jab for everything else prediction. It can't be that simple. So yeah, there's the tip. The tip I can give against Heihachi is to whenever you see a down forward 1 that you block, let's say you block a down forward 1, always sidestep to the right. The first time you see this, chances are there are very high chances that they will almost always use the blue spark version and not mix you up with it, unless you know they're a very, very good player and they use just down forward 1s, which can happen, but most of the time sidestepping to the right here is going to be a very, very good situation. Very good situation, a very good option. But after you do it the first time, let's say I do this once, like I do this once already, they might mix you up with this kind of follow-up and you'll get hit. Or just down forward 1 into, let's say you want 1. Or down forward 1 into electric. Who does something like this as well. So yeah, there's a tip. Against Clive, one tip I can give you guys is that whenever you block his back 2, so this move right here, back 2, and he goes into Phoenix Shift, which is his stance, what you can do is jab here every time and you will beat all of his options except for 1. So let me showcase it. So whenever you jab, you'll beat everything and you will also beat this power crush. You won't actually beat it, but you will not get punished by it, will not get hit by it. Right? So a jab is going to be a very, very good option. But the one option that will beat you is gonna be the low from stance. This into the low, this will beat you. But it's not that big of a risk because you're not gonna get countered unless you press a 1-1 or a 1-2 or a jab extension. So doing it just a single jab is gonna be very, very good in this situation. But if you wanna beat this low, you can do a down jab to beat this low and also everything else except for the power crush. So you have to pick and choose if you wanna get beaten by a power crush or if you wanna get beaten by this low. Up to you. So let me just showcase it. If I do a down jab here, this will hit me. Right, the power crush is gonna hit me. But if I do a jab, it won't. But in the other situation, now I can down jab and I will beat the low. But I already showcased, if I jab, this will hit me. There we go. There's the advice. Against Anna, a tip I can give you guys is that you have to move a lot against the character, especially in the neutral when you're sidestepping like this and moving like this. It's gonna be really good to sidestep because it will force the Anna player to catch her sidesteps, and the best way to catch the sidestep is gonna be her forward 2, which you can predict, duck, and then punish. Right? And the forward 2 is not as scary anymore even if you get caught because it got recently nerfed. So if you force the Anna player to use forward 2 in the neutral and you sidestep a lot, you'll be able to predict it in some situations and then punish it. And if you sidestep a lot in general, the Anna player is going to be more uncomfortable coming close to you, and the Anna is very scary up close, so you do not want her close to you. Another effective strategy is to use a lot of keep out with jabs, generic down forward 2s, electrics, stuff like that. That can also work really well. There we go. Advice I can give against Fahkumram, by the way, is to sidestep the character to the right a lot. The reason why you should do this and not to the left, even though left can be good is because jet kick is one of the strongest tools that he can use, and you do not want him using it. The moment you start sidestepping to the left, jet kick will 100% track you, and if it hits you, you'll get launched on normal hit. And even if it doesn't hit you and you block it, it's still +6. Do not want to deal with this move. Well, I don't want to deal with this move. So instead, I sidestep to the right, which will almost always avoid this move. You don't have to worry about it. What you will get hit by is something like this 3+4 right now, because I got hit by it because I was stepping to the right, or something like a down forward 1. But I'd rather get hit by 5 3+4s than 1 jet kick. There you go. One advice. One advice I can give against Armor King is to move a lot against the character. The reason why you want to move a lot, so sidestep right and backdash a lot, is because you want to avoid moves like forward forward 2, something like this, and forward forward 4. So you want to avoid them. The reason why you want to backdash a lot also is whenever you get hit by this move, you actually will be able to sidestep a lot of the options if you space it out correctly. So if you're backdashing correctly while standing 2, not while standing 2, sidestep 2 hits you not from close range, you can actually sidestep left, the while standing 4 and the while standing 2, and then punish them, which is going to be very, very good for the mind games because it will force the Armor King to sidestep again and then mix you up again, which will open up an opportunity for you to, let's say, counter hit them or something else. There we go. One advice. Advice I can give against Miary Zo is that whenever she goes into her stripper stance, you can jab her out of her mix-up, so you don't really have to guess between the mid and the low. So I'm going to showcase this after her heat smash. So when you block her heat smash, you can jab her here and get a float. Right? It's going to be very, very good so you don't get mixed up by the mid or the low. There are exceptions when it comes to some characters with bad jabs. If you have a bad jab, you will not able to jab her hell sweep attempt. So let me showcase this with Kaz because Kazu's jab is really, really bad. So it will work on the mid, but it will definitely not work on the low. So this is the mid, right? This is normally the mid. Now let's showcase the low. So when it comes to the low, if I try to jab here, the jab will not work. A lot of characters' jabs will actually work, but mine is gonna get countered because I have a bad jab. There are some characters, I think Paul is also one of them, where this happens. What you have to do with Kaz, instead of a jab by the way, is gonna be a back 1. This. You will not get a float by the way here. A back 1 will not give you a normal float like a jab will, so it's way, way worse, but at least you're gonna avoid the mix-up. And the answer to this mix-up by the way for Miary is gonna be a high jab. So let me demonstrate that as well. So whenever Miary does the situation and wants to stop you from jabbing, she will do this high jab and stop you from that. So doing that. Alright, so let me try to jab you. It will not work. But what you have to do here is predict this jab and duck it. Duck into either instant buttons, something like this can work. Or if you're hard reading it, you can duck and then sidestep it. It's gonna be a little bit harder to do, but you can 100% duck, sidestep, punish. Something like this. But this is also possible to do, but all of this is going to be more of a hard read. There we go. One advice.